Those people who follow my channel will know that I'm not a fan of conspiracy theories or of tidy solutions, but I am always interested in the odd story, particularly the odd story, the bizarre, the unexplained, the coincidental. And I entertain these stories. I think they're very interesting. I just don't see a common thread. I don't think the world is tidy. But the case of the sale of Autonomy, a British software company, to Hewlett-Packard in 2011 for $11.1 billion, and shortly after the acquisition, HP accused Autonomy's executive, primarily its founder Mike Lynch, and the former CFO, Lynch Chamberlain, of inflating the company's value through fraudulent accounting practices, leading to an $8.8 billion write-down. Autonomy was a leading software firm specializing in data management, and when HP acquired the company, it was seen as a strategic move to bolster HP's software offerings. However, the acquisition quickly soured, with HP accusing Lynch and Chamberlain of inflating Autonomy's revenues by booking sales early, recognizing hardware sales as software revenue, and other accounting tricks designed to mislead investors and inflate the company's value. Mike Lynch, the charismatic and controversial founder of Autonomy, has consistently denied these allegations, arguing that the failure of the acquisition was due to HP's mismanagement rather than any wrongdoing on Autonomy's part. Lynch's defense has painted him as a victim of corporate infighting and as a scapegoat for HP's broader struggles. And I'm afraid I would rather like to see it in that light. I don't like these monster companies like HP, and I view them with suspicion. The legal battle was drawn out over several years, involving both civil and criminal cases, and in the UK, Lynch faced civil charges brought by HP, which resulted in a 2022 ruling by a UK judge that found Lynch liable for fraud. Lynch was ordered to pay damages, though he's appealed this decision. Now, parallel to this in the US, there's been criminal charges against Lynch, seeking his extradition on counts of fraud, conspiracy, and other related crimes. Lynch Chamberlain, as a CFO, was less in the spotlight than Lynch, but was also implicated in the alleged fraud. The legal cases against him followed a similar trajectory, although his involvement was often seen as secondary to Lynch's. What has added an eerie twist to this already complex case are the unusual and tragic circumstances surrounding the apparent deaths of both figures involved in the scandal. In a bizarre and unsettling development, reports have emerged that Mike Lynch went missing from a yacht off the coast of Italy yesterday. The details of the disappearance seem murky. There's also the story of the baby, who was held up out of the water, very dramatic, with some accounts suggesting that Lynch may have fallen overboard, while others hint at more nefarious possibilities. The mysterious nature of his vanishing has fueled speculation and conspiracy, particularly given the timing of his legal troubles and the potential for extradition to the United States. On the other side, back in the UK, Lynch Chamberlain was struck by a car in Cambridge in what was officially described as a tragic accident. Chamberlain was reportedly crossing the street when he was hit, and although there's no public evidence to suggest foul play, the coincidence of his untimely death, just as the legal case was intensifying, has not gone unnoticed. The circumstance of these two incidents has inevitably led to a plethora of conspiracy theories, with some suggesting these deaths are not mere accidents, but rather the result of sinister forces at play. And the timing, both men being central figures in one of the biggest corporate fraud cases in history, combined with the unusual nature of their deaths, provides fertile ground for such theories. Final exit, and all that sort of stuff. Quotes from observers in the media reflect such growing speculation. One person says, "It's hard not to see a pattern where both of the main defendants in this massive fraud case meet such untimely and strange ends. This isn't a movie, but it certainly feels like a plot of one." Others have been more measured, with legal experts pointing out that coincidences, however tragic, do happen. And they warn that reading too much into events without concrete evidence suggests that the legal proceedings and their outcomes should be the focus, not the personal tragedies of the individuals involved. Actually, the reality is that it's the personal tragedies which are interesting. The legal processes, the bureaucracy, and the stuff which dulls the mind. Lynch's disappearance has left a legal team in a difficult position. While an appeal is in motion, his absence complicates the process. If Lynch is indeed dead or remains missing, it could potentially end the criminal proceedings in the United States. But it also leaves many questions unanswered regarding the fraud case itself. Chamberlain's death, while less impactful on the proceedings given his secondary role, still represents a significant loss of testimony and perspective on the events within Autonomy. The broader implications for corporate governance and the responsibility of executives is significant. The case underscores the lengths to which legal authorities will go to hold individuals accountable, and it raises questions about the pressures and the consequences faced by those at the top of major corporations. It's extraordinary how doggedly this organisation, Autonomy, has pursued the case, in contrast to the slow and indifferent approach of the British government to clear and apparent, alleged and apparent, misdoings in the post office. What's the difference? Is the difference simply the amount of money? Or is the difference between private and public ownership? Or semi-public ownership? The Autonomy fraud trial and the strange circumstances surrounding the deaths of Mike Lynch and Stephen Chamberlain highlight the intersection of high-stakes corporate power plays, legal battles, and the sometimes surreal twists of fate. Whether these deaths are simply tragic accidents or something more sinister, something more calculated, they have undoubtedly added a layer of intrigue to an already complex legal saga. As the legal process continues, therefore, the case has become a cautionary tale about the perils of corporate fraud, the problems of legal tardiness, the relentless pursuit of justice, and the unpredictable nature of life itself. It's crucial to remember the human element within the high-profile cases as the media and the public speculate. The impact must be considerable on the families, the legal professionals, and the broader community, and the business community involved in this saga.